So here's a few, okay? Not exhausting, not exhaustive, tons of them. And explore them on your own and stretch on your own. But I just want to run through them in the order I gave them. The cross was a sacrifice. Pretty simple. If you were going to teach the cross to little kids, you'd probably start right there. There was a religion of Judaism that used to sacrifice lambs and goats and pigeons and bullocks and turtle doves, and they would shed the blood of an animal. But before they did, they would lay their hands on that animal as a transference of what they had done wrong so that it would be put into that animal. And then they would kill that animal and offer it up on a sacrificial altar. And they would burn it with fire. And when Jesus came, John the Baptist said, "Behold, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world," which was his way of saying, behold the ultimate sacrificial lamb. So that when Jesus went to the cross, he became the Lamb for all mankind, all Jews, all Gentiles, men, women, past, present, and future, all sacrifice in one man. Behold the Lamb. It's why Jesus said, if I'm lifted up. He became the lifted up sacrifice. His sacrifice for my sins, for me. And because Christ is a sacrifice at the cross, my sacrifices all come up short. So I can sacrifice to God, but none of my sacrifices can save me. I can give money, but I can't buy my way into what Christ did in his own body. I can give time, but I can't give enough time for what God did in the timeless realm of dying at Calvary. Do you see? These are examples of sacrifice. This is why we must teach obedience to believers as a response to what has happened, not as a motivation to get God to move on our behalf. I'm going to do so that God will bless me. I'm going to read so that God will help me. I'm going to church so that I'll give, God will give. I'll pray, God will respond. And it's like a big spiritual slot machine that we keep putting prayer and fasting and church attendance and spiritual investment into, and believe that if we pull the lever, maybe all the cherries will pop up and God will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing we're not able to contain. If it doesn't happen this time, maybe it'll happen next time. If it doesn't happen at the spring revival, maybe it'll happen at the fall revival. Wherever it happens, we're just going to keep investing. And that is a fundamental misunderstanding that when Christ went to the cross, He was the sacrifice. Christ paid for all that I can't pay for. And if I used to put my hands on a goat or a sheep and all of my sins went into the goat or the sheep, then if Jesus is the Lamb, what went into Jesus when He went to the cross? Everything I could ever do wrong went into Christ, and so sin and evil taken care of in the ultimate sacrifice. Oh man, the cross was an awesome place. Now all of that is all over the Old Testament and the New Testament. But that's not all the cross was.